So guys, welcome to Isha Training Solutions. So here is the wonderful application, guys. So this is an application which is totally built by Isha Training Solutions. I've spent quite some money on this, and using this application, basically, you can practice any of these performance testing tools like LoadRunner, Jmeter, Load Self Performer, Oats, Gatling, or whatever the tools that you wanted to use, VSTS, or any of those popular tools. You can practice, you can play around. So the beautiful thing about this application is it is built by a performance tester. So what kind of typical challenges you face when you're doing a performance testing project, all those kind of challenges, I purposefully try to put those challenges in this application. For example, the correlation. So whatever the value that you pull out, or the dynamic value that you have to correlate, if it is bigger than certain value, which is 1024, by default, the load runner will not capture. So you have to use the functions like webset param max, set webset max param length. Okay, you have to use that function to increase the parameter length. So purposefully created that kind of dynamic values. Or most of the people who are learning, who have already worked, they know, but who are learning, but they don't know that in a script you can have more than one dynamic value. So purposefully I made sure that when you record an end-to-end flow, you would have more than one dynamic value that you have to correlate. You have to identify and correlate. Very rare things like base 64 encoding. Most of the people doesn't even know, but you encounter that, how to handle that. Or sometimes when you do the correlation, I mean, this is also for the correlation. There is a dynamic value, but that dynamic value is encoded with using the algorithm base 64. So how do you handle that kind of correlations? Using the load runner or with the Jmeter or near-load. And sometimes especially when you talk about load runner, the dynamic values will be encoded from plain to URL to plain, HTML to URL encoding, so all those kind of things. So here we have purposefully made sure that one of the dynamic value is from it's plain to URL encoded. So how do you handle that? And the security related questions, when you log in certain applications, there is a security related questions. For example, as Kumar Gupta, I log in, I'll be given one security question, and let's say Mark is logging in, he will be given a different security question, and then Stacy will be logging in, she will be given a different security question. So from performance testing point of view, so when you run it with 100 users, each time there is a different security question that will be coming up. So how do you handle that? This is popularly asked interview questions. Okay. So all this, and many more challenges, we made sure that it's all fit into this application. So I'll give you a walkthrough of this application as to, how this basically how this application can be used. And some of them, especially who doesn't have an experience, when they go to the interview, they have to project some real-time project. So maybe you can use this application, because this is not like your JPEG store, this is not like your standard banking application, or it is not like your web tools where everybody in the world knows it and goes and talks about it. The interviewer right away know that you haven't and have much knowledge. So this is completely different application. So you practice, play around, create end-to-end scripts, apply the load, and then maybe add that into your resume saying that you worked on this project. It's a simple, but quite some stuff has been included. So in the next video, I'll tell you, now that I've told you the purpose of this application, in the next video I'm going to walk you through or tell you the purpose of that. I mean, what is that application? What can a subscriber or an end user, who is this application built for in the real world, who will use it, and what is the purpose of this application? I'll explain it in the next video, and after that we will walk through the flows.